I never thought my life would end like this. On my wedding day, but not with the man I loved. With a stranger. You don't have a choice. That's what my father said. The night before everything changed. I begged him to stop. I cried. I told him I wasn't ready. But he didn't care. This marriage will save our family. Save them. But destroy me. I didn't even know the man I was supposed to marry. No photos. No name I recognized. Just silence. The next morning, I was already in a wedding dress. Everyone was smiling. Everyone looked happy. Except me. My hands were shaking. My heart felt heavy. Like I was walking into something I couldn't escape. And then, I saw him. Standing at the end of the aisle. Calm. Cold. Watching me. Like he already knew everything about me. But I knew nothing about him. His eyes didn't show emotion. Not happiness. Not anger. Nothing. That scared me more than anything. When I stood beside him, he didn't even look at me. Not once. Do you accept this marriage? I wanted to say no. I wanted to run. I wanted to disappear. But my father's voice echoed in my head. You don't have a choice. So I said it. I do. The moment those words left my mouth, I felt like I lost myself. But what I didn't know was, this man, this stranger I just married, was hiding something. Something that would change my life forever. And that night, I started to realize, something was very wrong. That night, I couldn't sleep, not even for a second. It felt strange. Being in the same room with a man I barely knew. My husband, even thinking about it felt unreal. He didn't say much after the wedding. No small talk, no questions, nothing. It was like I didn't exist. He just walked into the room, took off his jacket, and sat down quietly, cold, distant, like a stranger. I stood there, not knowing what to do. Should I talk? Should I ask something? Or just stay silent? Before I could decide, he finally spoke. You should rest. That was it. No emotion. No warmth. Just flat. I nodded slowly, but something felt off. Very off. I lay down on the bed, pretending to sleep, but my eyes stayed open. Watching him, listening, waiting. Minutes passed. Then, an hour. And then, he stood up. Quietly. Carefully. Like he didn't want me to notice. But I did. My heart started beating faster. Where was he going? I stayed still. Not moving. Not breathing too loud. I heard the door open. And then close. He left. In the middle of the night, I immediately sat up. Confused. Nervous. Why would he leave? On our first night, something wasn't right. I knew it. Without thinking, I followed him. Barefoot. Slowly. Carefully. The hallway was dark. Silent. Empty. But I could still hear his footsteps. Fading in the distance, I kept walking. Step by step. Trying not to make a sound. And then, I saw him. Standing outside. Talking to someone. A woman. My heart dropped. Who was she? Why was he meeting her? On our wedding night, I moved closer, just enough to hear them. And what I heard made my blood run cold. This marriage means nothing. That was his voice. Cold, clear, heartless. I froze. I couldn't believe it. What did he mean? Nothing. Then why marry me? I wanted to run to him. I wanted answers, but something stopped me. Because the woman replied, and what she said changed everything. She still doesn't know, does she? My breath caught. Doesn't know what? I felt a chill run down my spine. What are they hiding from me? And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. I wasn't just in a forced marriage. I was in something much worse. Something dangerous. And I had no idea what I just got myself into. I shouldn't have followed him. But I did. Something inside me wouldn't let me stop. I stayed hidden in the shadows, watching them, listening, trying to understand what was going on. My heart was racing. My hands were cold. Every instinct told me to go back, but I couldn't. Not anymore. I needed answers. He stood there, calm as ever, like nothing about this was wrong. Like meeting another woman on our wedding night was completely normal. The woman stepped closer to him. Too close. Familiar. That hurt more than I expected. Then she spoke again. You're taking a big risk. Her voice was low, but serious. He didn't respond immediately. He just looked at her, silent, cold. Then finally, I know what I'm doing. His tone didn't change. Still emotionless. Still distant. But something about it felt dangerous. Very dangerous. I moved a little closer. Just a step. Trying to hear more. Trying to see their faces clearly. But then, my foot hit something. A small sound. Barely anything. But in that silence, it was loud enough. Too loud. He stopped talking. The woman froze. And slowly, he turned his head toward me. My heart dropped. He saw me. There was no doubt. Our eyes met. For the first time that night. He actually looked at me. Really looked at me. And what I saw in his eyes terrified me. It wasn't anger. It wasn't shock. It was something worse. Something cold. Something calculating. Like he was already thinking what to do with me. I stepped back instinctively, my breath shaking. I couldn't even speak. My mind went blank. He started walking toward me. Slowly, step by step. I wanted to run, but my legs wouldn't move. I was frozen, trapped under his gaze. When he finally stood in front of me, everything felt suffocating. Since when? He said quietly. Were you there? His voice was calm, too calm. I swallowed hard. I just came out for some air. A lie. A terrible lie. He stared at me, not blinking, not reacting, just watching, like he was trying to see through me, like he already knew the truth. Behind him, the woman was gone. Disappeared, like she was never there. That made it even worse. Now it was just us, alone. In the dark. I told you to rest. His voice dropped slightly, not louder, but heavier, more dangerous. I felt my chest tighten. I couldn't sleep, I whispered. He took one step closer, and then, he leaned in, close enough for me to feel his breath. If you value your life, he said softly, don't follow me again. My blood ran cold. Was that a warning, or a threat? I didn't know. And that scared me even more, because in that moment, I realized something horrifying. I wasn't safe, not with him, not in this house, and definitely not in this marriage. I couldn't sleep that night, not after what he said. If you value your life, don't follow me again. Those words kept repeating in my head, over and over, like a warning, or a promise. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, too afraid to move, too afraid to think. Beside me, he slept like nothing happened, calm, quiet, untouched. How could he be so normal? After everything, that made it worse. Much worse. Morning came slowly. I didn't realize I had fallen asleep until I heard his voice. Get up. Cold, direct, like always. I opened my eyes. He was already dressed, perfect, like he had somewhere important to be. Like last night meant nothing. I have things to do today, he said, still not looking at me. You stay here. That wasn't a suggestion. It was an order. I nodded. I didn't dare to argue, not after last night. He walked out without another word. The door closed, and just like that, I was alone. But something didn't feel right. The house was too quiet, too empty, too controlled. I sat there for a moment, thinking, remembering, the woman, the words. She still doesn't know. Doesn't know what am I missing? My chest tightened. I needed answers. I couldn't just stay here, like a prisoner. Slowly, I stood up, my heart beating faster with every step. I walked toward the door, then stopped. What if he comes back? What if he catches me again? I hesitated. For a second, 2 seconds, then I made a choice. I opened the door. The hallway was silent, just like last night. But this time, it felt different. He wasn't here. At least, that's what I thought. I started walking, carefully, looking around. Every door looked the same. Closed, locked, untouchable, until one door caught my attention. At the end of the hallway, slightly open, just a little. My heart started racing again. Why was this one open? I stepped closer. Slowly, quietly, every step felt heavier than the last. Something inside me was screaming to stop, but I ignored it. I reached the door and pushed it open, just enough to see inside. And what I saw made my body freeze. It wasn't a normal room. Not at all. There were screens, multiple screens, showing different camera angles, different parts of the house. The hallway, the entrance, even my room. My breath stopped. He was watching me, watching everything. This whole time, I wasn't just living here. I was being watched. Every second, every move, and then, one of the screens changed. A live feed. From the hallway, behind me. Slowly, I turned around, my heart pounding so loud I could hear it. And there he was, standing at the end of the hallway, watching me, silently, like he had been there. The whole time, I couldn't move. My body felt frozen. He was standing there, watching me, silently, like he expected this, like he knew I would find that room. My heart was pounding so hard, it hurt. I tried to say something, anything, but no words came out. He started walking toward me, slow, calm, controlled. Every step felt heavy, like he already had everything under control. I stepped back instinctively. I can explain. My voice was shaking. Weak, useless. He didn't respond, not immediately. He just looked at me, straight into my eyes, like he was reading me, like he was deciding something. Then finally, you weren't supposed to see that. His voice was low, not angry, not loud. That made it worse, much worse. I didn't mean to, I whispered. I was just curious. He cut me off. I froze. He stepped closer, too close. You should have listened. That tone again, cold, final. I felt my chest tighten, fear spreading through my body. What is all this? I asked carefully, barely breathing. Why are you watching me? Silence. For a moment, he said nothing. Then he looked away, just slightly, and that's when I saw it. Something changed. Just for a second. His expression, not cold, not empty. Something else. Something conflicted. Then it was gone, like it was never there. You're safer this way, he said, calm again, controlled again. Safer. What did that mean? Safer from what? My voice cracked. I didn't understand. None of this made sense. He looked at me again. This time, more serious than before. There are things you don't know. My heart dropped. Things? What things? What are you talking about? I asked. Desperate now. Confused. Afraid. He didn't answer right away. Like he was choosing his words carefully. Or choosing what not to say. Then, finally, people are watching you. My breath stopped. Not just him. What? I whispered. He stepped closer again, lowering his voice. They've been watching you for a long time. My mind went blank. This couldn't be real. Why me? I don't understand, I said, barely able to think. You don't need to, he replied. Cold again. You just need to stay alive. Stay alive. My blood ran cold. What kind of situation is this? What did I just get into? And then, he said something that shattered everything I thought I knew. This marriage, he paused, looking straight at me, was never about you. I froze. If it's not about me, then what is it about, and why am I here? Why me? My heart was racing, my thoughts spinning. Nothing made sense anymore. But one thing was clear. This wasn't a normal marriage. This wasn't even a normal life. And whatever I was part of now, I was already too deep to escape. I couldn't process what he just said. People are watching you. They've been watching you for a long time. None of it made sense. Why me? What did I ever do? I stepped back slowly, shaking, confused, afraid. You're lying, I said, but even I didn't believe it. He didn't react, didn't argue, didn't explain. That silence felt heavier than any answer. If I was lying, he said quietly, you wouldn't be alive right now. My chest tightened. I didn't know what scared me more, his words, or how calm he sounded saying them. What do they want from me? I asked, my voice barely holding together. This time, he answered, not you. I froze. Not me. Then who? I whispered. He looked straight into my eyes, and for the first time, I saw something real, something human. You're connected to someone. Connected. To who? My mind raced, trying to understand, trying to remember, but I had nothing. I don't know what you're talking about, I said, almost pleading now. He sighed softly, like he expected this, like he knew I wouldn't understand. Of course you don't. That hurt, not because of what he said, but how he said it, like I was already behind, like I was already in danger, without even knowing why. They've been searching for years, he continued, waiting, watching. My heart started pounding again. For what? I asked, slowly, carefully. For the right moment. My blood ran cold. The right moment? For what? To take you. Everything went silent. I couldn't hear anything. Not my breath. Not my heartbeat. Nothing. To take me, I repeated, barely able to speak. He nodded. Once, that was enough. Fear exploded inside me. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't a lie. This was real. Too real? Why didn't you tell me? I asked, tears forming in my eyes. If I was in danger, why didn't anyone tell me? My voice broke. He looked away again, just for a second, then back at me. Because you weren't supposed to know. That answer felt like a knife. So, I was just supposed to live like this, I whispered, blind, unprotected. He stepped closer, not threatening, not cold, just serious. You were protected, he said. Firm, clear. I stared at him. Confused. Out. I asked, my voice trembling. He didn't hesitate this time. By me, my breath caught. Him, the man I was forced to marry. The man I was afraid of, was protecting me? That didn't make sense. None of it did. Then why the marriage? I asked, desperate for answers. Why force me into this? He held my gaze, unmoving, because it was the only way. He said slowly, to keep you where I can see you. My heart dropped, not free, not safe, just watched, trapped. So, I'm just a target, I whispered. He didn't answer, and that silence told me everything. But then, something else hit me, something worse. If they've been watching me for years, if they're waiting for the right moment, then, that moment might be closer than I think. And I had a terrifying feeling that it had already begun. My body wouldn't move. They're here. Those words echoed in my head, over and over, louder than my own heartbeat. Footsteps, fast, heavy, getting closer. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I couldn't run. Stay behind me, he repeated, firm, different, not cold anymore, not distant. This time, he sounded serious, protective. I stepped back, instinctively, my hands shaking, my legs weak. The front door burst open. Men rushed in, dressed in black, faces covered, like they came prepared, like they knew exactly where to find me. I froze. This was real, too real. One of them looked straight at me. There she is. My heart stopped. They weren't guessing. They weren't searching. They knew. They came for me. Before I could react, he stepped in front of me, blocking their view. Don't take another step. His voice dropped. Cold again, but this time, dangerous. One of the men laughed. You can't protect her forever. Protect me. So it's true. All of it. My mind was spinning. Nothing made sense. And everything made sense at the same time. Who are they? I whispered, barely able to speak. He didn't look back. They don't matter. That wasn't an answer, but I didn't get to ask again. Everything happened too fast. One of them moved, then another, and suddenly, everything exploded into chaos. He moved first, fast, precise, like he had done this before, like this was normal for him. He grabbed one of them, threw him to the ground. Another came from the side. He blocked, countered, didn't hesitate, didn't miss. I stood there, frozen, watching everything unfold. Who is he? This isn't normal. This isn't just a man. This isn't just a marriage. This is something else. Something bigger. One of the men shouted. Take her now. My heart dropped. Two of them rushed toward me. I stepped back, but it was too late. They were too fast, too close. And then, he was there. Again, in front of me, always in front of me. Like a shield. Like a wall I couldn't see through. You're not taking her. His voice was low, but final, deadly. For a moment, everything stopped. Even them. Even me. Because in that moment, I realized something. Something I should have understood earlier. This marriage was never normal. This man was never just a stranger. And whatever the situation was, he was the only reason I was still alive. The only reason. They hadn't taken me yet. The men slowly stepped back, not defeated, but cautious. Watching him, calculating. This isn't over. One of them said, before they disappeared. Just as quickly as they came. Silence. Heavy, unreal. The house felt empty again. Like nothing had happened, but everything had changed. I stood there, still shaking, still trying to understand. Then slowly, he turned to me. Our eyes met, and for the first time, I wasn't just afraid. I was confused. Lost. My body wouldn't move. They're here. Those words echoed in my head, over and over, louder than my own heartbeat. Footsteps, fast, heavy, getting closer. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I couldn't run. Stay behind me, he repeated, firm, different, not cold anymore, not distant. This time, he sounded serious, protective. I stepped back, instinctively, my hands shaking, my legs weak. The front door burst open. Men rushed in, dressed in black, faces covered, like they came prepared, like they knew exactly where to find me. I froze. This was real, too real. One of them looked straight at me. There she is. My heart stopped. They weren't guessing. They weren't searching. They knew. They came for me. Before I could react, he stepped in front of me, blocking their view. Don't take another step. His voice dropped. Cold again, but this time, dangerous. One of the men laughed. You can't protect her forever. Protect me. So it's true. All of it. My mind was spinning. Nothing made sense. And everything made sense at the same time. Who are they? I whispered, barely able to speak. He didn't look back. They don't matter. That wasn't an answer, but I didn't get to ask again. Everything happened too fast. One of them moved, then another, and suddenly, everything exploded into chaos. He moved first, fast, precise, like he had done this before, like this was normal for him. He grabbed one of them, threw him to the ground. Another came from the side. He blocked, countered, didn't hesitate, didn't miss. I stood there, frozen, watching everything unfold. Who is he? This isn't normal. This isn't just a man. This isn't just a marriage. This is something else, something bigger. One of the men shouted. Take her now. My heart dropped. Two of them rushed toward me. I stepped back, but it was too late. They were too fast, too close. And then, he was there. Again, in front of me, always in front of me. Like a shield. Like a wall I couldn't see through. You're not taking her. His voice was low, but final, deadly. For a moment, everything stopped. Even them. Even me. Because in that moment, I realized something. Something I should have understood earlier. This marriage was never normal. This man was never just a stranger. And whatever the situation was, he was the only reason I was still alive. The only reason. They hadn't taken me yet. The men slowly stepped back, not defeated, but cautious. Watching him, calculating. This isn't over. One of them said, before they disappeared. Just as quickly as they came. Silence. Heavy, unreal. The house felt empty again. Like nothing had happened, but everything had changed. I stood there, still shaking, still trying to understand. Then slowly, he turned to me. Our eyes met, and for the first time, I wasn't just afraid. I was confused. Lost. And strangely, safe. Who are you? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. He looked at me, not cold, not distant, just tired. And then he said something that changed everything. The man who will keep you alive. My breath caught, because in that moment, I finally understood. I wasn't trapped in this marriage. I was placed in it, for a reason, and whatever was coming next, this was only the beginning. I couldn't stay there anymore. Not after everything I heard. Not after everything I found out. I didn't feel safe. Not in that house. Not with him. Not anywhere. My mind was racing. If they were really watching me, if they were really waiting, then staying here was the worst thing I could do. I had to leave. I didn't care how, I didn't care where. I just needed to get out, now. That night, I waited, silently, carefully, watching him, listening, making sure he was asleep, or at least, that's what I thought. Minutes passed, then an hour. His breathing stayed slow, steady, like he was completely asleep. This was my chance. Slowly, I got out of bed. Every movement felt loud. Every step felt dangerous. I grabbed my shoes. My phone. Nothing else. No bags. No noise. Just leave. I walked to the door, my hand shaking as I reached for the handle. This was it. Freedom. Or at least, a chance. I opened the door. Slowly. Quietly. And stepped outside. The hallway was dark. Empty. Just like before, but this time, it felt different. Heavier, like something was waiting. I ignored it. I kept walking. Faster now. My heart pounding. Almost there. Just a few more steps. Then suddenly, a sound. Behind me, the door. Opening. My blood ran cold. I didn't turn around. I didn't stop. I ran. As fast as I could. Barefoot. Heart racing. Breathing out of control. I reached the stairs. Almost there. Almost free. A hand grabbed my wrist. Hard. Strong. Unmoving. I screamed. And turned around. It was him. Of course it was him. His grip tightened. Where do you think you're going? His voice was different. Not calm. Not distant. This time, there was something else. Something dangerous. Let me go. I struggled. Tried to pull away. But he didn't move. Didn't budge. You don't understand. I don't care. I shouted. Tears falling now. I just want to leave. For a moment, everything went silent. He looked at me. Really looked at me. And then, something changed. A sound, not from us. Not from inside the house. From outside. A loud crash. Glass shattering. Both of us froze. My heart stopped. What was that? I whispered. But I already knew. Something was wrong. Very wrong. He let go of my wrist instantly. His expression changed. Sharp. Focused. Alert. Stay behind me, he said quickly. This time, there was no coldness. No distance. Just urgency. Real urgency. Before I could react, another crash. Closer this time. Footsteps. Multiple. Fast. Coming inside. My body froze. They're here, he said. Low. Serious. Final. My breath stopped. They found me. And now, there was nowhere left to run.